All right, let me quickly apologize. I actually went to drop my wife in the church, so that's why I started a bit. I'm late to this place, so I'm sorry about that. Concerning our previous class, Crespin and Promise, were you able to go through that video and the file that was dropped on the WhatsApp? Please, I need your response.
Yes, I watched that. To be honest, that was great.
Promise, you were saying something.
Yeah, I went to the code, but I'm still having difficulty with that.
Okay. Where, which side are you having difficulties in? Please, your mic is not loud though. Maybe you should go close to your system.
I'm close to my system.
It's not, your voice is not loud. Are you using earpiece?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. So you were saying, what was the challenge you said?
Um, I'm having issues with the JavaScript stuff.
The
Because
JavaScript
I need to
bit
the
said?
const btn. Yeah,
The
const btn. But
okay, the const.
yeah, btn equal to document.jquery selector, then open brackets, double quote, then dot
Alright.
btn. That
Alright,
stuff
let me
will
quickly go through
transfer.
that code. Please let me quickly go through that code before I will do the next one. So this is our JavaScript, okay? Like I said, this one is array declaration. When you want to declare an array, sometimes you can use a const, okay? Const means constant. It means that these colors that we have declared in this particular program is an array and it is constant all through this program. So you cannot redeclare colors again anywhere in your program. So colors is what is colors. That's what we use constant for. Then all of this that you're seeing inside this particular uh, square bracket, these are the data inside your array. Okay, and we have said that array is beginning from the index of 0. So if I want to access items here now, red is index of what? 0, green
Zero.
1, just like that. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Then in line 10 we declare a variable again, const. Remember now, const is what? Is constant. It means that it cannot change in the course of your what? Of your program. So we declare a variable named btn with what? With constant. Then we now set equals to. Now this DOM, this particular document dot query selector, I said this is what? Is a DOM method for JavaScript manipulation, which we call the jQuery. All right. Then you can see this query selector is because inside our HTML here, inside this our HTML here, we gave the button what? A class. See the btn here. Are you getting it? This is the btn we are
Yeah, yeah.
targeting. Okay. So anytime you are targeting a class, the DOM method I use is a query what? Selector. Is a query selector. Dot, the class name is what? Remember, you have to put dot even in your style dot, which is the class
Yeah.
name that we have here, btn. That's what we'll pass here. Then const color. All right, if you look at this particular text you are seeing here, this span element is having a class of what? Of color. So we want to be able to change this particular code, this one that you are seeing here, as this program what is being clicked upon. All right, so what we did was that we have to also declare a variable to also help us to what? To handle that. That's why I give it const color. And you see now we are calling a class. If you look at inside your HTML here, it's actually a class that the color is. All right, that's what we call what? Query selector. We call the what? The class. Is that okay? Then we now use event handler because we said when you click a button, it is an event. Okay, for this action to be occur on this particular program, it's because of what? An event. So we said btn. So where is this btn coming from? This variable that we have declared here. Are you getting it? And you know that this variable we declared here is the one that is only the class of what? Of btn. Okay, the
Yeah.
class of button. Okay, so we now said btn dot add event listener. I said we are listening to what? To a click what event. So this thing I'm doing is actually a click what? Is actually a click event. Is that okay? Then inside this our event listener we call a function. All right, this is the function. This is where we declare the function. Color what? Color flipper. Okay, this is where we declare the function. The essence for us to declare the function is for us to get our statement that we want to execute. Are you with me?
Okay.
So what we now did was that before we now came back here, we declare a constant. This is a function. This is a function for actually what? Arrow function. I said it because you should be getting familiar to it because we are moving to React any moment soon. So this function you are seeing in line 25 is the same function you are seeing in line 15. I mean the declaration, they are the same thing. But this one is just the old conventional function, while this one is the arrow function for EX6 and it was EX7. Alright, so this get random number is actually the function name. So if you are declaring arrow function, you have to pass equals to bracket open and close, then your arrow, then your curly what? Your curly brace. So what we actually did here is that we returned a mat because I showed you guys what mad or random. Mad or random will actually randomize number, just be randomizing number a based on the system generated what number. And you are seeing the decimal point there. So we now said that for us to be able to get the whole number, we have to what? The number that we are looking at inside our array, which is colors, we have to multiply this color dot length. Color dot length will give you the length of your what? Of your array. So the length of our array that we have here, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to give you 6 because you see it's from 1 to what? To 6. So we multiply the length of our colors times the amount of random. And because we are only concerned with the whole number, that's the number before the decimal point, we now pass it inside math dot what? The floor. So floor method only print out what? The number before the decimal what? Point. So after we have done this in our function, we go back to our original function, which is the color flipper. So we declare a variable called what? Random number, whereby we pass this function that was declared, get random number, we pass it inside. Okay, we call this function that we have here. So this function we have here is now storing on the random what? Random number. Are you with me?
Yeah, yeah.
So we now said, okay, we want to change the body, the background color. So we have to go inside the CSS. So we now call document body. Body is HTML element, style is what? CSS. So this one you are seeing here for background color means I want to change the color of the background. We have to call back our what? Our array. Our array is what? Is colors. So
Colors.
remember,
Yeah.
this random number is what is getting this function that we have declared here. This one. So we have to pass the random number inside here. That's why you see the background color changes. Okay. So the next thing was that we want to also change this one along with it so that we see what's going on. So I told you guys about text content. So color or text content. Where is this color coming from? This variable that we've declared here. This one we declared here. The text content. We say text content is used to change the content of the HTML elements. So equals to colors. We also pass the word the random number there. So that's just what we did last class.
So just be displaying different colors there.
Yes, it will be displaying different colors based on what we have inside this particular array. You see, this array we have red, green, blue, this one, this one, this one. So it will not display any color outside what we have inside this array. That's what's going on there. Is it okay?
Alright. Thank you for that.
Um, Tosin, did you go through the code I dropped? It's not with us. All right, let's continue. So today we said we want to go for the other guy, which is uh the X. So want to
I
solve it.
went through it. I went through
All right. I hope there was nothing that was disturbing in that video.
sorry, I went through it.
So now let's quickly look at. We are looking at this x now. What we are looking at for x, you can see that this thing is not working presently. X, I just abbreviate it to mean it actually mean hexadecimal. And if you look at hexadecimal, those of you that are into computing, you will know that uh, hexadecimals are numbered to base what, to base 16, isn't it? And we were also told that the computer does not understand 10. Computer does not see decimal numbers. So hope you know. Computer does not understand 10, 11, 12 to that 16. So what the computer actually understand basically is binary, which is also called the machine words. The machine,
Recording is on.
which is also called the machine language. Somebody is recording this class.
Yes, I'm the
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
which is also called the machine words. Thank you, Crespin. Which is also called the machine language. So, Chris, can you be dropping it for us after the class? Drop it on the platform.
Okay, let me see if this one will work out.
All right, test running, right? Okay. So, which is also called the machine word, the machine language. So now you can see that the program we just wrote here right now, we are limited to colors. All right, we are just only having these colors inside this array. What about you are looking at a project that can generate any amount of color that they have in the world? So the best thing is using what, the hexadecimal words, the hexadecimal color. You have to, you get a lot of color that you want to generate. So what we need to do now, if you look at this HTML file, there's a JavaScript file that was actually used there, x.what.gs. All right. Presently now, I'm not sure we have it on our system yet. So we have to make this file available, just as how we make this app.js words available. So I'm going to pass it inside this particular place here, this file here, x dot what, I'll call it x dot gx. So it means that I go, let me collapse this one. So it means that inside this my HTML, I have to first of all go inside what, gs, right? Then before I will now go into what, x dot what, sorry, that's app x x dot what dot gx. All right, so this is my JavaScript. Okay, so just like what we did in that previous program, the first thing we need to do is to declare our what, our array. So we are going to give our array name to be const, let's say x, because we are looking at x now. Your square bracket open and close. So I want to have my hexadecimal. So my hexadecimal, it start from 0. Your x start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like I said, computer does not understand what 10, right? So 10 is actually called a, and we know that a is a what, is a string. All right, it's not a number, so you have to pass it inside a code. So we have b, we have what, c, then we have what, d, so we have e, then the last digit in x is actually what, f. So this is our array. You can see in this type of a program now, another thing you still need to take note is that hexadecimals are a number that are generated with what, with hashtag. You can see the sample that we have here, there's always hashtag. You can see this f1, f5, f8 is just a combination of numbers inside this particular array, that you have here, f1, f8. So we need to write a program whereby we will now tell the computer to help us combine this color, this number inside the array. So what I'm saying in essence is that we have to loop. So you are going to learn the concept of loop. Okay, the concept of loop. Probably at the end of the class when the program is working, we'll now look at loop. Did we look at loop last class? No, we'll now take loop as a topic. We'll now look at it in what? In JavaScript. But let's see how we can use loop to get what we are doing here first. So having done that, the next thing is for you to declare your what? Your variables. So always check your HTML. You can see that the HTML I have here, I still have a class of what? BTN, right? I have a class of what? A class of what? Color. So to change this particular color, I need to call it. So I'm going to say const BTN equals to document dot query selector, because it's a class. Query selector, I'm calling the class name, which is what? BTN. So const color, for the changing of the color, which is also a class, document dot query selector. My class name is what? Is actually what? Color. So this now I've declared my two variables, which is the color and is what? And is also the word the BTN, which is also the word the BTN. Alright, it's just like what we did lastly in the previous program, but this one is a bit more logical because we are using a loop statement to merge numbers together. So the next thing we are going to do now, we have to listen to a click event, because we want, when this button is clicked, an action to what should occur. So I'm going to call that BTN variable that I just declared, BTN dot what? Add an event what? Listener. We are listening to what? To a click what? A click event. Now, not to confuse you, let me follow the previous pattern that we use. So what I'm going to call this function, I'm going to call this function that I want to declare right now exa. Let me just see exa what? Color. Exa color. So this is a function name, so I have to make this function available. So the function is going to be exa what? Color. So let me use our conventional function to do this function. So I have the name is exa color, my bracket open and close, then I get my words, my curly words brace. Are we together? Are we together, class?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
have we done that? Uh, okay. Let's say this is x, right? This is x. So what I'm going to do now is this: I will declare a function that I will use to get my random number. So that in case you are going through it, let me just use my arrow function here. This one is to get what? Get random what? Random number. So I'm using arrow function for this. Please, it's not compulsory that this must be different. I can still use my conventional function for it. Okay, let me just change something and I will still be good. Get random what? Number. Okay, but inside this particular get random number, I'm using a return what statements. All right, I'm returning just like what we did here now. Okay, we want to return whole number, so we have to first of all call our math dot what? Our math dot what? Dot floor. So inside is our math dot floor. We are also talking to math dot what? Math dot random, just like what we did in the previous one. Math dot what? Dot random. All right, so this go like this. Then I have to multiply this math dot random by the what? The length of my array. Remember, my array right now is what? X. All right, so that will be x dot what? Dot length. That will be x dot what? X dot what? Length. So we have said that this one will give you the length of your array. So be my guest, let's just pass in a cursor dot log here so that you see what's going on there. Cursor dot log. Cursor dot log. Let's say I am calling this particular function that I just declared. I don't know. So let me first of all pass it inside a variable. Let's say random number equals to get random number. So inside this place, I'm going to get that random number. So the reason why I'm doing this random number, so any, all right, spelling, no, so I'm actually good. It's telling me spelling error. So look at what's going to go on here. I just want to know what I'm doing if it's correct. So let me inspect. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing that? I have 6, I have 12, I have what? 6. So there is a random generation of number coming from here. You can see that I have up to 15. And you know that this 15 should be F. Let's see. I think the highest in hexadecimal is actually 15. I believe we know that because it started from 0. From 0 to 15 is still 16. So I'm having access to the numbers that I want to have access to. So this one is giving me the number that I have inside here right now. Okay, so now how do I now make it possible for me to like uh for me to be able to get these numbers that I want? All right, then I will pass it inside. I remember I said we have to first of all look for a way to what to join, because actually hexadecimal number need to have what hashtag. Hexadecimal number need to have what hashtag. So what I'm going to do here, let's say I'm going to say let's call it x color, s color. So this s color, I'm going to pass it as what, I'm going to pass hashtag here. I'm going to pass hashtag inside. So what I want to do right now is that I will join that s color, all right, inside my what, my loop. I will join that s color inside my loop. Let me show you something. Let's say I said cursor log. Let me just do something here. Cursor log. So this cursor log, I'm looking at the s color joining with what, with my array. I'm concatenating them to what, to together. So let's say I have the x color that I have declared there, s color plus equals to, what's my array name? My array is x. All right, let's say I want to pick the index of 14. So let me comment this on now so that I will not have a big fat error. So let's see my browser. I click, you can see that I have hash words, hash e, right? Because if you look at this particular, if I click again, I should still be having hash e. If you look at this particular 14 now, e is actually 14. So if I say okay, I want to get for 15, 15 should be what, should be f. If I save it, I go back to my browser. If I click on this, I have what, hash what, f. So the idea now is, how do I get these digits, all right, then I'll mix them together. That will give me my color, which is the exact decimal that we are looking at. Then I will now display it inside my what, inside my program, inside my program for JavaScript to display the specific color that I am actually looking at. So what I'm going to do, like I said, we are going to use a loop statement. For looping, we have different kind of looping statements in JavaScript. We have the for loop, we have the for each loop, we have the while loop, we have the do while loop. I keep telling students, anytime you are writing a program, be very careful with while loop, because while loop, when it's not stopped, it can lead to what we call endless loop, which is infinity loop. And infinity loop can crash somebody's what operating system, because the looping is not stopping, it just continuous what process. Okay, so we are going to be using the for loop for now. Now before I start with the for loop, this is the syntax of your for loop. Syntax of for loop, I will always give you my syntax, because I believe the foundation of programming starts with what? With syntax. If you don't understand the syntax, please, you are just cramming, and you are not a programmer, because it is when you understand the syntax you'll be able to factor when there is error in your code. So the syntax says for. So the first thing they say we should do, initialization. So you have to first of all initialize your variable. Initialization. Then the next thing they say we should do is to condition. All right, your condition. Then the last thing they say we should do is increment or decrement, because these are operators. We have increment operator. If your this thing is to go down, you can pass in what? Decrement. Then they now say we should have our curly brace open, our curly brace close. Inside here you have your what? Your statement, or what? Or statements. This is the syntax for your for loop. So let me now use it. Let me now what? Use it. Please, are you guys with me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
Yes,
for,
sir.
thank you very much. For like the syntax we have there, we said initialization. How do you initialize? You declare a variable, you pass where you want to start. So let's say I say let high equals to 0. So this one, what this statement is doing here now is I'm saying that let I equals to 0. It means that high is starting from 0, and high is a variable that has been declared. Remember we said let is another word way of declaring variable in what? In JavaScript, right? So I have declared the variable, then I have also what? Initialized the variable to what? To something, and it's starting from 0. Then I actually omitted something. Instead of comma, you have to pass your what? Your curly brace. You have to pass your what? Your curly brace here. That's what JavaScript says you should do. So what I'm going to do, I'll pass in my semicolon, sorry. So the next thing they said now is what? Is the condition. What's the condition? Basically, hexadecimal is in pair of six combination. I mean hexadecimal color now is in pair of 6 combination with your hashtag. But there is also a way around it. If you have a pair of 3 combination with your hashtag, you are still in a very good shape. But let's start with a pair of 6 with your hashtag. So if I want to get a pair of 6, it means that I need to set my I to be less than what? 6. If I set my I to be less than 6, and my initialization is starting from what? 0, it means that I'm going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, what? 5. 6 is not what? Inclusive. True or false, mathematicians? If you say I less than 6, it means that 6 is not inclusive, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so 6 is not inclusive, and if you count it from 0 to 5, it's still what? 6 what? Digits. Okay, so the next thing they say we should do, we should increment our words, our variable that we have initialized, which is the what? The I. So I'm going to say plus plus I. This is how we increment. Plus plus I means that you are adding 1 to the existing value for what? For the I. All right, 1 is added to the existing value of what? Of I. Is that okay? So the next thing they say we should do is what? Your curly brace open and close, then you get your
Sorry,
what?
come in.
Your statement. Somebody say something.
Yeah, coming. Yeah, regarding to what you said here, plus I.
Yeah, plus plus I,
I
it
think
means
that
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 we are incrementing I by what? By 1. So if the first I is 0, the next I will be what? When the loop is moving, the next I will be what? 1. The next I will be what? 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's not going to pick what? 6. Do you understand? So plus plus is increment.
okay.
Plus plus is actually what? Increment. So now, having done that now, we need to look. Remember, we are joining our X color. The X color that we have declared up there, which I called hexa what color. So remember, we are joining it with whatever this looping is bringing out for us. All right. So how do we join? There's something called concatenation. Concatenation, I think I said it last class. Maybe it's not your class because I do have a lot of class. Concatenation simply means joining two entities. I think it's your class. Joining two entities together, either a variable or any word, joining them together is concatenation. All right. So I'm going to call that my particular variable I declared a hexa words color. So if you are concatenating in Python, all right, let me write a particular code. If I say plus equals to, I called my array up there is what is X. That's what I have as my what as my array. So inside this particular array, I am passing the function that I've just declared, which is random what get random what number. So look at it. This particular line of code, line 17 that you see, is also written like this. For those of us, it can also be written as hexacolor equals to hexacolor, all right, hexacolor plus x in brackets get random what number. You see this line of code, line 18, it is the same thing with line what? Line 17. This plus you are seeing here, this plus you are seeing here is for concatenation. It's not adding this one plus this one, no. Concatenation is joining wherever is coming here to what? To this. It's just joining. So this pattern you are seeing is just a shorthand way of what? Of writing what? This. Is that good? So this plus is actually concatenation. So I'm going to comment it out. So now we have succeeded in joining this whatever generation this guy is generating for us to our color. All right. Now let's see something. Let's say I have uh, my event listener that I have here. Let me click on this so that we'll see what this thing is actually working, if it's flagging error or not. I think I need to call my console.log so that I will see the combination. So the console.log that I'm going to call here, I'm going to call it, I think is already done. So let's just pass something here. Let's say console.log. So I'm calling the function. I can't call function inside a function. So let me call it inside here. Let me call it inside here. Please, I just want to show you something. I will bring this one back. Let's say console.log. All right, I call this function called exa. Now there's a problem. There will be a problem here because I can't have exa color. I have exa color. So let me call this one x color. So this one should be what? X color. Okay, because this one is actually a function. So it's going to be giving me an error. So let's see. I'm calling the exa or color. The exa color is now a what? A function now. Let me just see what's going to happen here. You can, yes, So I'm having undefined. Said line what? Line 7 in X. So why am I having undefined? This particular variable that I'm using here, this particular function I'm using here, is actually not seeing it yet. Alright. But let's say I use the exact color inside my cursor. So let's say something. Click. So this is the exact color. Let is equal to the, it's showing me what I have inside there. Alright, so let's come back. Console.log. Who is this? Console.log exact color. So it's not seeing this thing that I have here. So let me take it back to what I have. So this is what I have initially. So I said this one should be X color. So alright, I have something like this here. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to find a way to actually trigger whatever logic that I have inside my words, inside my X color. So my X color now is this guy here. That's my X color. So I'm going to pass in, I'm going to say document, because the body is what I want to change, dot body dot style dot what, background color. Okay, background color equals to the color I want to change. This one down, I'm using this one. It's going to be what, X color. So if you run this particular program, you will be getting the background color changing. Alright, so for you to understand what's going on here, let me just display something for you. Console.log, let me use console.log X color. So I have it inside here. Let me maximize this. So if I click, I see that I'm having a combination of some digit that's being that's generating from my array. I have 7 in my array. I have 1 in my array, F7 and A1 in my array. So if I continue to click, I see that the numbers are changing based on the combination I have inside my array. Alright, so now the idea now is, how do I make this text to change to whatever is generating from my array? So your guess should also be good as mine. Remember, you can either use text content or use your inner words text. So I'm going to call the variable I declared there, which is what, color, right? I'm going to call color dot text contents equals to my X color now, equals to my S color. So see something, immediately I click here, this is B combination. So these numbers now, you can see that I have more color code than what I have previously. Please, any question, please. Then I said something. I said that it's not only it must be 6. All right, you can have a pair of 3. So if you want to get a pair of 3, you can go back to your for loop. So for I less than what, that will become less than 3. We'll say I is less than 3. What am I expecting? 0, 1, 2, which is also what, 3. Right? If you save and you click Are you see what you're having? So you are still getting hexadecimal color. Why we call it hexadecimal color is because of the presence of hashtag, the combination of pair of numbers. That's how we call it what hexadecimal color. So let's take it back to 6. Just use that one to explain something to you. Please question. Question. Hello.
Alright.
Promise any.
So I can go back to the code so I can ask my question.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go back to your code so I can ask the question.
Okay.
Okay. Line 21.
21.
So you can see the document dot body dot style, the
Yes.
background color equal to S color.
Yes.
Yeah. 21 and 22. I'm having issues with that. I'm with 17 because I understood what you're explaining. If you check line 16, said for bracket let I equal to 0,
Yes.
then a semicolon of I less than 6.
Yes. Condition.
So before I start answering this one, yeah, before I start answering line 21 and line 22, if you look at line 17, line 16, is there any way you can, reduce the color without changing it? Changing like reducing, let me say color red or color blue, like using code to reduce it, like using less than 4, less than 5, so that if you are clicking the browser, when you click, it won't show those random numbers. Like it will just reduce the number to like 3 or 4.
All right. That's a good
You
question.
understand?
That's a good question. First, hexa is a 3 or 6. There's no hexa for 4. There's no hexa for 5. Is that okay? Hexadecimal is a pair of uh, alphabet or number. Is a pair of alphabet or number. So this pair of alphabet, the reason why they gave it 6 is that it's coming 2 2. All right, 2 2 2. That's 6. Remember, in your color code we have ROGB, right? In the HTML we have ROGB. So you see the ROGB idea that hexa is actually using. Remember we said that for red, red is what, FF, right? Then black is what, is 00,
Yeah.
nothing, 00. So that's FF is what is being used for combination of red. So but what hexa is now saying that if you have only one F, it can still work, it can still stand as red. If you have 10, it can still stand as what, as black. So if you bring in a pair of FF, let's say CC, you now have a DD. If you count those ones, they are 6. Do you get it? Then let's say you are picking one from them. You pick one